Hey everybody, so this is the Vintage Gamer. I've posted about, I don't have time to read a ton. Nope, I just said it. I don't have time. Well, I do have time, I just choose to do other things. But lately, I've been thinking about the She-Hulk comic that I read, the Essential Volume 1 Marvel Comics She-Hulk, the Savage She-Hulk, and this is issues 1 through 25, Stan Lee, David Anthony Kraft, John Buscema, and Mike Vosberg. And the crazy thing is, when I got my first job after college, one of the team lead, he was like above the team lead, he actually was friends with his good buddy when he was younger, like a kid. His dad was John Buscema, and he used to draw. He said Buscemi, but it's actually, I corrected him. I was like, John Buscema? And he goes, oh yeah, no, that's more right. So he used to draw, and then he would go and you know, look at his drawings while he was hanging out with his friend. He said it was really, really cool. He'd be in his office drawing. Do I recommend buying this? If you're an avid comic person, sure. I actually picked it up at a convention, so if you go to local area swap meets, and not necessarily full conventions, but if you go to like any given year, you'll probably have several within a given area that you live where people are doing like swap meets, flea markets, kind of like what Pat Contry does with video games. And essentially, you can go and pick up really cheap comics. And I'm going to go through some of them at some point, but I have comics that I picked up for like 25 cents a book, and they're mint condition. I haven't gone through them yet. I've done several moves with them, and I need to make sure that they're actually still in good condition, because I actually had some pipe breakage at one of my houses, and I still haven't looked to see if they were damaged. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book because it's really old school. It's kind of like a Mirage Studio style, like really basic, simple paper. It's paperback. It's really easy to lug around and kind of hard to damage. Obviously, this is not mint condition because it's been used so heavily. And whatnot, but it's also not original copies. It's the consolidated, massive number of comics in this. So, you know, if you enjoy that kind of thing and you want to go through a couple of pages a night before you go to sleep, it's a great way to read this. So, would I get another one for family and friends? Probably not. I have one. I'm just gonna share it or hand it off to people just to see what they think. I'm not really gonna gift this. I don't think it wasn't. I like She-Hulk. I do like the character. I prefer Hulk over She-Hulk just because, I don't know. She-Hulk just seems like a duplicative premise, and I didn't really get to know the character that well, despite reading all these comics. And She-Hulk definitely seems more controlled than Banner. Than their cousin, but at the same time, it was like, what's she gonna do next? You know, you never really know. Like, who's she gonna take back to her apartment and you know what I mean? Fill in the blanks. It's just interesting. So I think I think that in terms of expectations for what these comics would bring, every page you're like, whoa, what did I just read? You know, I had to redo a couple of these pages because some of the ideas and the premises and then like the execution of these comics was just so unpredictable and got a little violent sometimes too. It wasn't crazy. I mean, it wasn't like disemboweling or anything like that, but you know, people died. You had some pretty good graphics. I've seen better, not graphics, I'm sorry, pretty good illustrations. I've seen better. You know, this is pretty old stuff, but it also had a couple pages where I was just, you know, like, oh, I have to stare at this for a while. So here's a good picture of the man elephant. This is completely black and white. They didn't have any color pages. It was just the cover and the back that were colored. But it's been quite a while. But anyway, feel free to check it out if you want. I got it for like, I think it was $16.99 US, $27.25 Canada. I got it for a deal because it was at a swap meet, and I think it was like $5, $10, something like that, you know, and as I said, it holds up pretty well, so you don't really need to be super careful with it, you know, once you've used it a couple times to read a couple comics, because frankly, it's like I said, it doesn't fray very easily, so it's pretty nice material. So I'll read the back. She's been an FF member, an Avenger, and the sharpest attorney in the superhuman halls of justice. Now see her savage starting point in this complete compilation of her first series. Jennifer Walters takes her first thundering steps into stardom against mobsters, monsters, and supervillains, whose its own best team lineup featuring the Man-Thing. I forgot about Man-Thing. The Man-Wolf and Man-Elephant. There were more enemies, but those were like the big ones for this. Guest starring members of the Defenders. That's a lazy name too, to Defenders. I mean, come on. Man-Thing. They didn't have Man-Mosquito. I think that's a sci-fi original, which it's like super lazy naming conventions, but this is like some of the earliest days of comics, you know? And literally, you could just show up at work and be like, man, insert animal or object, and you had a successful day at that point. But now it's a lot harder. That's a tough business. Even Stan Lee had quit it, or thought about quitting at one point. Obviously, you know, unfortunately passed away recently, but he was just so successful with this business, and now it's just next to impossible to be original. There's just so much stuff out there, so much canon and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting to see what Disney's doing with it too. But anyway, would I recommend this? I would recommend it for if you've got an easy pickup, if you want to share it with your friends, go ahead. I wouldn't recommend everyone buy it because frankly it doesn't have a lot of resale value. It's a secondary print. It's not originals, obviously. It's 1 through 25 issues. If you like that kind of thing, go for it. It doesn't have any color images except for the front and back, and then the inside of the comic book itself is all just almost like newspaper print. It reminds me a lot of Mirage Studios, like I said. But anyway, you know, feel free to hit that notification bell. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. More to come. I really appreciate it. If you want to donate, I have a new donate capability. If you want to support the channel, there's also the merch store, Patreon, and you know, let me know if you want to help out. Also, if you have ideas, just go ahead and email me. playretro3os@gmail.com, and we can go from there. Otherwise, thanks for all the comments and all the support, and take care.